Hello everybody, this is the top-down analysis for the coming week, and things are really getting interesting here on the euro dollar. So the euro dollar, as was expected here on the daily, is fighting with the support level it actually reaches here, right? So it's finding support at the 21, and as it has tried to run and then got rejected. Well, where does this rejection comes from? Well, it's from the higher time frames where we're way overextended, and there's this pull factor, this pull energy down short, and as well here on the monthly. Well, we've got this; it's way overextended. We've got this pull energy short, so price wants to go short. However, here on the daily, well, price finds support. So this is the struggle. The long and the short forces are struggling. It has to break the 21. It was not successful. Well, I'm expecting, because it's difficult to go higher, right? Because we've got these higher time frame forces on the weekly and monthly. So now it's struggling, and I think there will be maybe it's going higher, and then it's going to try to break the 21 for a second time, or right from here it's trying to break the 21, and if it's successful, because we're struggling around currently around this level, right? If it's too successful, then we'll see, I think, this quick run at least here towards the 150, which is an intermediate pullback in this overall uptrend. Well, we see it as well here on the 240. The price finds another support at the same level. Then the 21 finds another support. Well, this time with the 200 moving average, right? So price is clearly playing around with the 200 and the 21 here on this chart. So it's a cluster level on the 240, and it's basically here sitting on 21, and as well it's fighting with the 200 on the 60 minute, as well on the 15 minute. So we've got a number of support and resistance areas that price is currently bouncing off. It's interesting to see. So here we've got these resistance levels ahead. They're coming from the S1 patterns on the 5 minute before. And we can see here clearly, well, it got rejected on this third level, came back, and now it tested the first level, right, and got rejected. So this tells me that the bears are really strong, and these levels are still in place. So only if we can actually break this third level, then I'm getting slightly bullish on the euro dollar again. Okay, so despite the euro weakness, the euro has been actually able to rally against the pound, while the pound is extremely weak, right? And this makes it look this makes the euro look relatively strong against the pound. But as we've seen with the dollar, well, the euro is weak, but the pound is even weaker. Well, this is an S1 pattern, right? We talked about. I thought it might fail because the euro is weak, but it's actually, well, what came out is that the pound is even much more weaker, and this is an S1 pattern, right? Well, it's completely overall sideways in TC1. That's why I don't want to trade it. But the TC pattern here on the daily, well, that's an S1 pattern. And we have another S1 pattern here on the monthly, right? So this daily is a pattern. It's a daily pattern within a monthly S1 pattern, and it looks like it wants to run for stops. So we might actually see the pound, the British pound, to collapse over the next couple of months. Whatever the euro is doing, like the euro might do really bad against the dollar and many other currencies, but it looks like the pound is decomposing itself, right? So that's interesting because we've got a couple of cross pairs that trade with the pound. Now let's just have a look at those. So here's the pound US. Yeah, the pound is weak. We see this strong sell-off against the pound. I don't see a lot of trading opportunities here because it's basically sideways, the weekly. Let's have a quick look at the monthly. Yeah, right. Now I remember. So this is this chart. There was a busted pattern on the monthly, right? And we have run for those stops, and now it's consolidating. So yes, it is sideways on the weekly, but the monthly, well, there's a clear short bias, and I'm actually expecting this to get solved on the downside, to break out of this sideways and actually make a decisive low. This is the measured move. This is a consolidation, and I'm expecting a measured move of similar size and extension. So it might be good to have in the back of your mind, and that you can trade the pound weakness over the next couple of months. So this is the pound yen. Well, again, we see here a weakness in overall sideways, and the monthly clearly tells me, yes, this is a consolidation, and we can expect a move, a second leg lower. So here again, there are very good prospects to trade the pound weakness. Let's have a look against the Swiss. Yeah, because the Swiss has been really strong, right? So we see that this strong sell-off here, huge sell-off, and let's see here on the weekly. Well, it's very volatile. On the monthly, well, we clearly see this downtrend, right? Well, the Swiss is very strong. It looks very similar against the dollar, but against the pound, we are already more advanced. We basically have broken out of this, or very close to break out of this sideways. That the last man standing is this wick low that clusters with a big number 1000, and we might see yeah, this is a magnet level, so price gets strong to those levels. It's a pull and then push through. So again, here it looks very good. Well, currently we're overextended on the daily, obviously. Things take time, so we might get a pullback, and then a new break lower. This is an S1 pattern, by the way, that formed, I think it was Friday. On Friday we had a couple of S1 patterns, right? This is an S1 pattern, and it's yeah, well, it has achieved break even, and that was a stop out, right? Well, Friday yeah, it's not that the greatest idea to take a trade, but this is an S1 pattern, and it's yeah, it's stalling, and we'll have to see. That's a trend following consolidation. That looks like an S2. Yeah, that's an S2, but we're heavily overextended, so it's not TC2, right? It's not tradable. So let's have a look at a couple of more pound charts. Another sell-off against the CAD. We're in a sideways consolidation, and it looks, and there are a lot of nice stop run levels. Again, here I'm marking this move. These are really nice prospects to see this breaking lower against the CADs and against the odd Australian dollar. How does that look like? Well, it's very sideways, but there are stop run levels, right? If it starts to run, we might again here exactly the same thing. We might see a stop run move. It tried to rally, got hurt, and now it might test the other side, right? Let's see. Right, this is the last pound pair I'm looking at, and it's pound New Zealand. We talked about several times. It's one of my preferred charts, actually, right? And this might now come true. We talked about that before. This might now come true. So this is, of all those pound charts, this is my preferred one that might make the biggest move of all of them, right? So we see here from back 2003, that's the first data I'm getting. We see a clear downtrend. So the pound is getting weaker and weaker against the Kiwi. Here we've got a busted pattern. Well, it's way too big, this breakout, to be tradable. But it doesn't matter. There's another pattern. So this is a pattern followed by a pattern, right? So that's a double pattern, and that gives you double pressure. That gives you even more prospects for a big move, lower. Yeah, this might go a big. So this is the momentum move, right? And this might fall apart. Let's just draw here. The target area is around here at 75. So that's This is the target area 75. So currently we are at 2. So it might more than halfen. This is the idea so that's a lot of pips to go, right? Just a few more charts to look at. So the Euro Swiss is just taking a rest. We see a pullback to the 21 second test. Clearly bearish with great stop run levels here. Here the US Swiss continues to go lower. I'm seeing a lot of potential on the downside. This is kind of an S2 pattern with not a clear flat and TC2 overextended. But this is a trend continuation, consolidation. And if it breaks lower, well, we can expect a second leg. So the US yen, I don't know what's happening here. It's kind of half dead, right? It has found support. It could rally, great stop and lows, but it's not doing anything. Well, at some point of time it will wake up, and then we will see either it make a big move down, or it will make a big move up. But it's not time yet. So it might be time for the Swiss yen now. This is a line I had drawn before. And we're actually approaching here this important level with a couple of other stop run levels. We have here an S1 pattern, right? This one here is an S1 pattern. It's not nice because there's no clear line, and we've got a big breakout. So the risk is much too big. But still, I like to look at those patterns. Let's just draw it in to not forget about it. So this is a pattern. I don't want to trade it, but I know that this potentially has a power, right? So if it starts to run, and that means if it breaks this dominant wick high, that's a great level to look at. If it breaks this high, then I'm then the plan forward is that this is going to break the consolidation high and then start to run, right? There's a lot of room to go. Let's just quickly check here the monthly. Yeah, that's what we saw before. There's a lot of room to go, right? So a lot of swing potential if the bulls find the power to break this level. Okay, as you have seen, there's a lot of potential forming in the higher time frame charts. Some will require a little bit more time, and all pound crosses are the most imminent ones that we can see really nice moves coming up. So now it's time to look at the crypto charts, because there's a special situation I would like to show you. Let's start here with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, we had this we had broken out here on the weekly chart, right? That's my long-term buy signal that starts the second leg up, similar to this leg, a second exponential leg higher. That should end this consolidation. Well, price is still in this consolidation, right? So timing is always a bit difficult. So we have made a great breakout, and I had hoped we would continue to run for these stop run levels here, bottom left, these 3 wicks. Well, it didn't. What we get? Well, we get a strong pullback, and the pullback goes where to? Well, it goes to the 10,000 big number, $10,000, the black line. We see it here, the black line, 10,000, and we can see over the last couple of days, the last week, where we saw testing like multiple tests of this line. So it's a very important line. We saw this test from the bottom, and now we see this test from the top. So resistance has become support. So the question now is if this support holds. Well, it has held for the last couple of days, but the longer this consolidation stays here in this tight trading range, the more I believe that this is just a consolidation, and that we are breaking lower and making a second leg, similar to what we've seen here. So this would bring us to the 8,800. So 8,800. Well, let's just draw this in. So if this consolidation breaks, this is the target area, and I would really like, let's have a look at that. I would really like to make a new low below this consolidation low. So this would be kind of a fake. This could take out a couple of stops, and I would like to see this, right? Ideally, go here, find support, or even move a little bit lower here to this number 8577, which is the 21 of the monthly chart. So 8577, which is, it's exactly here. so that's a great level, right? So that's a level where we can test these lows and even undershoot them, and as well it finds support at the 21. This would be really good, finding support and then go off. So now what is the special situation? And the special situation you can see on the 4-hour chart, because this is an S1 pattern, right? This consolidation here over the last couple of days, well, it has formed on the 4-hour chart into a clear, right? A very clear S1 pattern, just short of the 10,000 big number, the black line. So now it has already triggered. Well, it's not tradable, right? Why? Well, TZ1, it's nowhere close to 21. Well, it's in an early downtrend, but it's not trending on TZ2, right? And it's actually sitting right here on 21 resistance on the way down. So it's not tradable. And sometimes in situations like this, I like to use a failure of such a signal as a long entry. So what does that mean? Well, it has triggered short, right? It could run short, and it might do it. It might do our second leg lower, as just explained, into this target area here on the weekly chart. But if it does, so it looks really weak right now, right? Without wanting to trade it. But if the bulls are getting in and showing strength and are breaking this breakout high, well, this would mean something, right? The bulls are really strong despite the bears who have actually rebroken the line and should actually take over now to drive prices down to the downside and crash through the 200 moving average basically. So if the bulls are strong enough to break this level, and this might happen within the next couple of days, well, that's for me actually an entry signal in Bitcoin, because then I'm just expecting, okay, this is a pullback. It tests the most important support and resistance, the 10,000. We can see it even better on the weekly chart, how the 10,000 is so important. So it's a breakout. It comes back, tests this important breakout level that is a support, and then continues on the way higher. Here we've got on the monthly we've got a test of 8. So now it's really interesting to observe this level. It's a clear level, and it can be used as an S1 short pattern failure to actually go long, right? We see a very similar situation. It's nice that this comes up on other pairs. So we see it here on Litecoin, very similar. Well, there's a great potential to move lower. That's free fall territory, right? So there's a big there's a big temptation by the market actors actually to reap this volume, like buy sell volume, to reap this. Here it's finding support at this dominant level. So let's not get too much into detail. Let's have a look here at the Ethereum. Very similar, right? So Ethereum here, it's an S1 pattern. Well, it's an even worse pattern, but it has rebroken the line. If it breaks, makes a new high, it's a long pattern. Why is this a long pattern in addition? Well, in addition here on the daily chart, we have actually an S1 pattern long on the daily, right? And on the 240, we've got an S1 pattern short. So if this breaks higher here, if this is an S1 failure, well then actually we've got a confirmation of this S1 pattern long. It doesn't nicely fulfill the rules, and I'm more relaxed with the rules on cryptos. So I'm not expecting a touch of 21, but it's fairly close. So if this breaks this high, well, I'm getting into Ethereum, right? So I'm getting into, let's see, Litecoin. Well, Litecoin has a little bit more resistance overhead because we've got these two S1 patterns. So Litecoin, I might wait a little bit, right, for these levels to be broken. Bitcoin looks pretty good to enter at the break of this, but because there's a lot of room to go. Okay, Ethereum, we talked about Ethereum. Bitcoin Cash, it's not much, well, except that this is an S2. That's an S2 pattern, actually. Let's try it. It's an S2 pattern, so interesting to see if it develops momentum. And Ripple, similar. We've got this S1 pattern, right? And another S1 pattern here on the daily that might well. Okay, so if price has the power to re-break this level up here, well, that would actually be quite quite bullish, or maybe wait for the next, for this stop run level or the consolidation high to break. Because what happens then? Well, then we have a long-term buy signal. There's on the weekly. On the weekly, we've got an S1 pattern, right? A huge pattern. Like it goes back 2 years. That's an S1 pattern. It had already triggered before, and then we made a new low. That's good. And now it's about to trigger again. So we actually can expect if this if this level comes up here, if price comes up here, there's huge stop run levels, right? So it can make a big move. Now you might wonder, okay, why does it look like this? Well, it's a new coin, right? So it started to list here. So that means we don't have a momentum move, right? We just have the consolidation pattern. Well, with cryptos, there are a lot of cryptos that are new coins, and a lot of coins look like this. They just shoot off and then they form a consolidation. So they start forming a consolidation from the very beginning. And I'm just assuming, as we are in this super bull market, that there has been a momentum move before, right? I'm just assuming that. It was not listing, but I'm just assuming there was a move. Well, I've no way to know how big the move was. I'm just assuming there was a move. We're trending overall, TC1, TC2, and that's a pattern, and that we're just making a new high and go to whatever target, right? So this is it. Very interesting right now here with the cryptos. You can watch these levels. Very interesting. I think it's more probable that we're breaking to new lows, and this makes a more pronounced consolidation lower. I'm fine with that. I've sold some of my positions that I've taken here. So we could see this this pullback, which would be healthy. The overall theme of an overall trend picture, or if the bulls are really strong, or we break this, and then I'm fine too. Then we might see then we might see a very quick continuation, and it's a confirmation of this breakout level. So that's it. A little bit longer today, and thank you.